And therefore, spiritual maturity, understanding submissiveness and humbleness, leads to a life of peacefulness. That's why a lot of people aren't very peaceful, because they're not very humble, because they're certainly not very submissive. And they pick and choose. They submit to what they agree with. They submit to what they like. They resist what they don't agree with and what they don't like. And that's pride, and that leads to a very peaceless life. And the Bible said that's not God's plan. Spiritual maturity prompts the attitude of peacefulness. Look at verse 7. Casting all your care on him, for he cares for you. The final choice on the pathway to spiritual maturity after submissiveness and humbleness is peacefulness. A submissive and humble person wants to walk in obedience with the God of the universe, who has clearly asked us to cast all our cares. Notice what verse 7 says, all. God wants to take care of our troubles, our cares, our burdens, but without the first two attitudes, he can't. Without submission and humility, we never get the benefit of his mighty hand. They're connected. It isn't a la carte. You can't get one without the other. They're a package. Therefore, in 1 Peter 5:7, that word that's translated care in English comes from a Greek word that's rich in meaning. It literally means anxiety or the state of being pulled apart. And that's what most people are. They're in the state of being pulled apart by all their anxieties and troubles and fears and discontents. And it just is not a picture of God's grace. And God asks for us to gather up and consciously unload all of our burdens, all of our discontentment, all of our troubles, every anxious thought, all of our fears, and all of those pains, and unload them onto him. It's almost like God is the divine dumpster. He walks alongside us through every moment of every day in our life, saying, cast your burdens on the Lord. That's Psalm 55:22. In fact, this verse 7 is almost an exposition by Peter of Psalm 55:22. Basically, this is what the Lord is saying. Throw all of those heavy, painful, sharp, poisonous, debilitating, injurious thoughts and attitudes on me. They are just wearing you down. My mighty hand will hold all of your sorrows, all of your woes, all of your pains, and all of your fears. You can't do it. They will injure your relationship when you hold on to them. And they will distract you away from looking at me with the eyes of faith and with a heart of love. Actually, the verb that the Spirit of God inspired Peter to use makes it so clear. It's a casting in the aorist tense. It means a once and for all throwing it in the dumpster. And then when any more show up, you just let them follow into the dumpster. You say, I've already put all those in there, and you belong in there too. And by faith, we say no. We are going to give over all of our past cares, all of our present cares, and all of our future cares to God. We don't sort them. We don't keep the ones we can handle or think we can handle. We give them all to him. He wants them all. Remember, they belong to the Lord, not us. He said, all your cares belong to me. So basically, humility is letting Christ increase as we submit to him, as we clothe ourselves with his attitude, with his meek and lowly humbleness, as we trust him. And what happens? We have peace. What happens is that all of our cares are no longer ours but his. And basically, God has said that submissiveness, humbleness, and peacefulness are tied together, interconnected, and mutually interdependent. God's answer is always that we first submit to him, then choose to clothe ourselves with humility, and then entrust our lives.